Welcome to the Grappling Grappling Rewind Podcast.
Welcome to this week on the Grappling Rewind Podcast. On this week's show, we're going to recap the Who's Number 132 lightweight bracket for the championship. We are also going to recap the UFC BJJ 7. As always on the show, I'm your host, Maine, the co-host,
Josh.
How you doing, Josh?
Good. Which championship?
The Who's Number 1 championship at 155
There
pounds,
we
Josh.
go.
Yeah, we had some notes issues. As per usual, we had some notes issues. You had me in the pre-show. Josh berating me over my poor grasp of Japanese because we're going on my honeymoon in a couple months to Japan, and that's all in the intro now. It's all I can think of.
Couple months, and it's literally a month away.
It's a month away. We're gonna have to do some pre-shows for that. So if you have thoughts for topics for the two shows that essentially
We're just coming over to Maine's house.
We're gonna have to record ahead of time
with his stuff.
Please reach out again at the Grappling Around on Instagram and DM us if you want specific show topics for those 2 weeks that we're gonna do. Basically, not live shows. We've never in the history of the show in the past 8+ years never done a pre-recorded show more than a couple of days in advance. So this will be a new bridge for us.
We're forcing Maine to figure out time zones, and he's gonna have to do it from Japan.
No. So, in news this week, no big news that I want to talk about of any note. I really just want to get into Who's Number 1, which threw me off so much that it was happening on a Tuesday.
On a Tuesday.
I don't think we really previewed it to any length last week. And
Did
the
you
UFC
even
BJJ,
talk about it?
No, UFC BJJ, same thing. We just had Pans. I wanted to get through Pans, and then we did, and now we just get to recap this. In 2 weeks, we have ADCC trials. So we have the West Coast trials. Normally on this show, we would preview that, but we want to cover Who's Number 1 and UFC BJJ, so we're going to stick mainly to that. Josh, I want to come into Who's Number 1 immediately and just talk about, we're essentially going to miss a lot of the match on Who's Number 1. I just want to talk about the 155-pound tournament and specifically Dorian Olivarez. So let's move into that match first. What?
Especially the guy that won.
Especially the guy that won, because
Kid is so good.
He beats Julian Espinoza in the semifinals, so it's a 4-man bracket, and then beats DeAndre in the finals. And I also watched him win East Coast trials a couple of months ago out in Florida. Mm-hmm. And I was watching him at East Coast trials, and I do not know how, if he keeps getting better at any sort of rate that he is. The guy that I saw before he won the first trials in 2024, because he won the 65 kilo division for that event that I was judging, and then he goes and wins trials a couple months later. I'm like, the improvement in skill that I even saw from him winning the 65 kilogram bracket, one of the
66.
opens. No, for the open.
Oh, okay.
When I was judging at the open, to then him going winning trials in 2024, and then seeing him in ADCC 2024 and seeing how he fared and him getting submitted, and then seeing him at CJI, and then seeing him at trials now, and seeing the rate at which he has improved is impressive. And also, I don't know at 66 kilos really how you beat him.
You're a better wrestler than him.
You're not, and no one in our sport at 66 kilos is.
And your ability to hold him down,
which I don't think anyone at 66 kilos can do. Dude, who did he go against at CJI? At CJI 2?
Was it
Penna?
It was Nicky Rod, wasn't it?
It was Penna. It was one of the might have been
yes, baby. He went against bigger people,
and they could hold him down. But even then, it was okay, you need to be 100 pounds bigger than him to have a shot at doing that. I do not know if because even Julian Espinoza in this match was kind of trying to leg lock him and put him in spot, get.
Dude, you're training full time at Kingsway,
He is such a unique problem because Dorian Olivarez brings a level of wrestling where it's okay, Gavin Corbray couldn't take him down. His brother, DeAndre, couldn't take him down. They're both very serviceable wrestlers in the 66 kilo division. Not phenomenal blast level wrestlers, but very serviceable. Gavin has good balance, knows how to use it, knows how to counter. Couldn't deal with the takedown offense of Dorian at trials. DeAndre here couldn't deal with the takedown offense of Dorian at this. And again, that was mainly from Dorian just putting up heavy pressure in the finals here.
Forward movement.
Forward. He is
From my estimation, you're going to have to like one of two things. You're going to have to crowd him, get inside, and like wrangle him down.
which I don't think anyone has the cardio to do.
Well, it's not a cardio thing. It's more of like just getting to the inside because he moves, and he's not going to let anybody, get double unders or like an over under for like Greco style wrestling or that, or you're going to have to like somehow magically trick him into getting arm dragged. Like I don't
think anyone's fast enough to finish an arm drag on the guy. Like he has such a he's 19, maybe he's 20.
I thought he was like 22.
Okay, well he's young.
He's a young guy.
He's young. He's incredibly fast. He's pretty strong. He's now learned how to pass, which we saw at trials and here. Like DeAndre, like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I think he would have really struggled. We saw him really struggle at the first trials to like pass. It was one of his biggest weaknesses.
Pace. It's his pace that does it. And the fact that he's added such skill to it to where, how long was he on DeAndre's back? For a solid chunk of time.
Yeah, a minute. Yeah. He was
for
there.
a
He was
solid
there
chunk of time. And like,
and DeAndre had to really like buck back hard.
he had to go to get out. He had like that sort
down.
of that little bit of leg exposure on Dorian, but Dorian didn't care, and then just kept going forward. He mounted him.
Yeah.
Like it's.
I love
DeAndre. I love him,
and he's local. You've known DeAndre since he was a kid.
Like I've
not known him,
but no, I've seen him compete since forever. Both of the Corby brothers.
Because we're all in Maryland, so they're Maryland guys.
They're Virginia Beach, like Virginia guys.
Wow.
But they were up around like US Grappling and stuff like that way back in the day. And they were really good then. It's just like I really don't know how you stop. You have to take a guy like Jax Forrest, who just won like the NCAA championship, like that caliber of wrestler and scrambler, and somebody that has just so much funk when it comes to wrestling to do something. Like you need a higher level grappler, and I can't remember. Rob would be able to tell me more than probably anybody else, but like I don't think Dorian has a ton of like high
he won
level
Fargo.
wins.
I think he won Fargo.
Did he?
Won Fargo.
Cool, but like I can't remember because Rob was talking about it and he brought up something, but now I have to look it up.
Yeah, you can look it up while I talk about his.
But it's
incredible run through Julian Espinoza. Gets I think what was the finisher? Renegade choke.
Now you're gonna put me on the spot.
It was just submission. Who? Flow Grappling has like the worst interface, and I'm looking at their results because I have them pulled over from our results, and it's forces Julian Espinoza into a submission at 129 for victory. You're like, dude, a jiu-jitsu guy wrote this. Didn't write the submission. Now I'm like blanking. I believe it was a rear naked choke. He like squeezes down.
We should be better at it.
Yeah, it's only been 9 years. It's also Easter Day for us here today, trying to get the show out. So again, Dorian Olivarez is incredible. I want to talk a little bit about DeAndre in his earlier match because the matchup that I was kind of curious that I thought was the most well matched in this tournament was DeAndre versus Max Hansen, and you had a ton of Max Hansen pretty much exclusively looking for leg entries.
He had that good bite.
He did. He had a good bite,
and he posted on Reddit. And was like, "What did I miss?" Like he literally was like, "Hey, what did you see that maybe I missed?" And he like was back and forth.
This is Max Hansen.
Max Hansen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. He went for it, but then it was just like it became a Corby match where it was like a forward pressure like going through, and I'm still also looking this up.
I think honestly the thing I take away from this at 66 and what we've been seeing more and more from guys at 66 and guys like Dorian that are having good success is that pressure and the pacing that you can keep at 66, especially in sort of the new landscape of how a lot of pro events, especially who's number one, we can get into more of like who's number one's judging decision and criteria, but that's probably best left for another day. if you are just the guy doing more, it's sort of turning into MMA, where it's like in a close match, if you're just the guy that's moving more and like pushing more into your opponent and moving him backwards, you're going to win. And we see that with, again, Dorian, and he has some positional dominance in the finals against DeAndre, but DeAndre, his match over Max Hansen was like, Max Hansen was actively looking for stuff, but DeAndre was on top pressuring, and like he was shutting down all of the entries that Max had, other than, again, the one really, really good heel hook bite that DeAndre like sort of eats and then just makes enough of an angle with his hip and his knee to get out, and sort of Max can't continue to track and follow to put any additional pressure into that heel, and then he heel slips it down. But the guys, even like guys like Owen Jones, another guy top of the heap, they're just winning with a lot of pacing most of the time. And it's like if they can't sub, and again, at the top level at 155 and 66 kilos, you see subs, but from the top upper echelon guys, they're spotty.
I think it really just depends on the matchmaking. Like and on the day, sometimes people just like you catch somebody good on the right day and you just like blow them out of the water.
Yeah. And
other times it's just a gritty match. It was a cool little tournament, like a 4-guy little thing. I had Olivarez, as much as I love DeAndre and I'm like, I want him to win like everything. I knew
Dorian was the easy money.
I knew it was going to be a tall task for him to win. I think he can beat him. I think it's just going to have to be a little bit more like game planning.
Oh, I think it's a lot. I think
not even a lot. A little bit more game planning towards like what he brings to the table that would help defeat him. And I think he just also has like Dorian has a great competitive mindset and just like tenacity behind it just to win. And he's 20, about to be 21.
Okay, so he's super young still. I think the most interesting thing that I'm watching from Dorian, and I'm thinking about this from like ADCC, because we're a couple of months away from ADCC. He's gonna be well seated at 66. He did, he made it through his first match last time, and then second round, or no, he gets beat by Garabov in the first round or second round. Regardless, I think Dorian will go much further in ADCC this year, and I'm trying to think of like what we're seeing from him now is pretty close to the finished product we're going to see at ADCC in a couple of months here.
What is ADCC honestly going to look like?
At 66 kilos, it's going to look like Dorian Olivarez.
Like,
depending on the invites.
I mean, just like in general with the landscape of their UFC isn't blocking anybody from doing this rotation of ADCC, correct?
I don't have clarity on that. From some reports, it seems like they are not for this one, but for next one, absolutely. But some of the way that you're reading some of that is like, I don't know if that's actually, they're not being
I think a lot of things
with
with like contracting and things like that and exclusivity, it's only going to hurt the sport in general.
Absolutely. We've seen it in combat sports all the time.
Will it make people more money? Possibly. Yeah. I don't know. Like, again, ADCC got rid of the women's absolute. I don't know the payout that's going to be this time around. Is CGI 3 actually going to be a thing? There was like
is it going to be a $10 million purse?
Yeah, exactly.
Right. I think Dorian Olivarez, I think anyone in front of Dorian Olivarez, if you allow him to outside pass or like pass from anywhere he can get into an outside pass, into a north-south pass, or into a knee cut range, like you are going to have to collapse him into you so much and play from such a tight range to possibly be able to invert on him and go for a leg. Like that is the only option I can possibly see, or get to a back from a really, really in tight guard.
Are you going to be able to handle the forward pressure?
I don't think. No.
Are you going to
see an avenue for anyone to be able to deal with that?
Are you going to be confident shooting on him as he comes forward at you?
No. I think there's a person in jiu-jitsu at 66 kilos that should have that confidence. Like there's been nothing about what Dorian Olivarez brings from like a front pressure, from a stance perspective, from like where he stands, how he deals with stuff. Like no one gets in on him. He just immediately is popped down, he's out, and then he's made the range, made the space, and then he is either up into you, pushing you out, or he's swinging down for a leg. Like no one's had like the gall to like shoot and try to drive through him. I don't think it's a good avenue at 66.
We're thinking about that. Whose guard is good enough to stop, again, the forward pressure of it?
I think you have Pato, you have Baby Shark, and you have Owen Jones. Are the three guys that stand out for me as like guys that play incredible guards who are going to be at ADCC. Like those are the three guys that I can think of that are like, okay, Pato's matrix guard. Can Dorian deal with that? Can he deal with the entries? And can he deal with like the back takes that Pato has there? It's like, I don't know. I wouldn't, with the version of Dorian Olivarez that was at this tournament, the way that he dealt with DeAndre and shut down everything from DeAndre and shut down almost everything from Julian Espinoza, like you're getting very close to guys that are in the mix for trials winners and ADCC. Like DeAndre's been to ADCC. I think Julian like placed at trials. Like they're very, very good guys that are very close to like the end of ADCC, not in medal contention. That's my question of like, I don't see an area that you could leverage a skill set that I see of guys having at 66 other than those three guys. Other than Pato, Baby Shark, and Owen Jones, that have the dynamism in their guard. Owen Jones is active enough in his guard, and he hunts submissions quickly enough, and again, another young guy, that I think that's an avenue towards victory. It's still, again, the pressure that Olivarez brings, but I think Owen Jones is a guy that's very hard to pass the north-south. I think he's just too aggressive. He's too willing to get on his hip inside. It's Duolingo pinging me.
Every time.
And then you have Baby Shark, who has, again, a phenomenal guard, less wrestling.
I don't think anybody roughly Dorian's size when it comes to, like, not weight, but, like, height. I think if you're shorter or stockier, if you have a stockier build, it's very difficult. Owen Jones, to me, would have the best build to help stop that because he's lengthy.
Yeah, he's lanky. When I weekend was out in Atlanta and got a chance to train with him, I was like, oh, he's like tall. He's like not tall, but he's like wiry in a way that it was just like
I think
I
that
feel like a
is
nightmare.
like look about who was his match at the trials that he beat in the finals.
Owen?
No.
Dorian. He beat Gavin. He beat DeAndre's brother at the finals.
No, sorry.
The first trials.
When we first saw him, was it 22 then?
Was it Dominic Mejia?
There you go.
Yeah.
Mejia also has a little bit more length to him. Not like super lengthy, but at the time, that was an issue. But that was a couple of years ago, and he's evolved since then.
Yeah, Dorian's, I think, a way different. Again, his north-south passing is now such a problem, and I think he now knows the guys that can invert incredibly well, which is most guys at 66, and he's still getting past and still getting to mount and still doing all of these things that we saw in this matchup. Like, it is such a neat problem, and I'm just excited to see how he fares at ADCC. Like, there's a very short, I would almost be shocked if he didn't place, because I think he will have decent bracketing based on just like what we've seen, where he kind of should be bracketed, especially with the ADCC Open and the trials, like credentials that he has, having to win 2 trials back to back. Like, he's not going to have that low seed like he did. He'll be seeded higher than before. So anything else on this, Josh? Anything else on the tournament? Again, Dorian Olivarez is the 155-pound champion. I do not know who you put in front of him for a title defense.
Pato,
I think but it's weird because Pato was the champion at 55, and now he is not. I don't know why they can't get Pato back. But yeah, Pato for me, the former
maybe he's
champion,
signed with UFC.
Maybe Pato is the guy for me to see Dorian Olivarez against. Like, that's what I want to see. I think Baby Shark's 45, not 55, but that's what I'm excited to see. So this was again an incredible showing from Olivarez, and just continues to get better and better and better. So what's the next one you want to talk about?
Dr. Nick Mattia versus Little Jacob Borneman. Borneman.
I pronounced his name wrong all last week. I'm going to call him Little Jacob. That's what everyone calls him, because there's Big Jacob, Jacob Couch, and Little Jacob, Jacob Borneman.
Yeah.
How do you, Josh? You wanted to you had some words in this match earlier.
Well, it's more so like who's number one's judging, right? Like sometimes they're just like, oh, the guy moved more, so I think he's winning.
I think a lot of the problem comes with, and we've talked about it, you have no points. You have no like framework that mandates action take place. And as a result, because you can't hit guys with like stalling, really, like you kind of...
You can.
But
because they were giving out penalties.
But what do they do? What do they mean? That's the question. Is like, it's a penalty.
Fuck all?
It's an old enforcement. Laws without enforcement is just suggestion.
Here's the thing, right? So in the first frame, since it's 9 minutes, thank you, by the way, not making everything 15 minutes long.
Yeah, that was very nice. I appreciated that on a Tuesday night.
When a majority of like a lot of matches go to decision, and it's like, but I'm not watching 10 matches by 15 minutes.
But also that makes sense when you match up guys appropriately at the high levels. Like,
absolutely,
you're not going to submit guys. Like,
right,
that's part of the game.
So he ran him down, took him down, like that in the first 3-minute period. That was
the only action.
The action that got him the nod. And then it was more so just like him pushing forward, but not gaining anything. Not getting anything that it's like, oh, there's progression into it. Like he's just kind of sitting in the guard.
And Nick's kind of working for something, but not really getting anything going.
Also to Nick, like stayed on his feet, like was like, I will wrestle you. And anybody that's seen any like highlight of Jacob, it's like normally he's running people over, right? He's just like dogging them.
I was curious because Nick seemed taller than Jacob. And I was just curious if you thought that played a factor in maybe, or you think Nick's just that dog?
He's that simple man. So like they're wrestling there. Dude's shredded.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Got a whole 8-pack, like the guy's in shape. So it's like, okay, I'm training with all these high level guys. I don't know his full background when it comes to like any kind of wrestling, but he was in there and was not afraid to stand in front of him. Right. But again, it's like you got 3 guys sitting around the mat with literal dinner trays in front of them.
The judges.
As the judges table.
Yeah,
and they're just like, oh, this guy's moving more. So he's winning. That's why we favor them, because he's bobbing and weaving. Like it happened with the kids tournament where, the Sainz brother, one of them, Carlos, or as they were just referring to him as Chingy. I didn't even know his name was Carlos at first. He was literally just like fainting in and out. And they were like, okay, he's winning the first stanza.
I think it kind of feeds into the problem that we've kind of had for who's number one for a while, which is there's not a framework to really make people take risks or push activity. And it's been the problem we've seen it with other organizations that like kind of fade and flash and then don't have a bunch of events like who's number one has. There's not a criteria that makes you have to do something. So when you go to judge, you're left on like he kind of moved more.
But then you have the opposite side of that with like ADCC or PGF, where it's like he's not moving for 3 seconds stalling. It's like let him do something. There's got to be a middle ground somewhere where it's like, okay, yes, we need to call for action, but we can't call them for stalling in half of a second.
Yeah, it again, we've talked about it for years and years and years. It is the hard part when we work in a sport that is so piecemeal with the way that it does
And here's
everything.
And the other thing too is where there's 900 different rule sets.
There's every different rule set, and then they'll change from year to year, from month to month. That's just
we're
difficult.
also here armchair quarterbacking it.
Yeah.
So it's like, here's this, but also, here's the opposite side of it. There's no clarity in it, no specific criteria, which helps my brain work. Like, here are the things. Here's this rule set. I mean, it's the same thing with like the UFC BJJ, where they're like, this is what gives you this, but then they get scored, and you're like, how?
I don't know. It's been a more.
It's wishy-washy.
I don't want
Anyway.
to belabor it too much, but it has been more and more of an issue as we watch more and more of these matches, of the level of activity, and then winning a round or getting a favor. It all feels. It is getting more and more unclear.
It's watering it down.
And it makes it hard to
Enjoy
care about
watching it.
Care about the result, because it's like, he won in this rule set, but maybe that's not with this rule set. It's just like,
Also, it's
makes
on a
the
Tuesday.
stake of all the matches a little different. So, but let's talk about the finish here.
The last part of
regardless, the only real big action of the match.
Jacob got tired. You could see he was like huffing, he was slowing down, and Mattia took advantage of that. Passed his guard beautifully. Took his back. I was like, is he going to finish?
I didn't think he was going to finish, because they had 20 seconds on the match or something. On the
If
match?
that?
Like less than he does not have the choke in, and there is less than 30 seconds. And I went, no way that he's gonna get these. But again, it was the first shot he had in the back, and to his credit, he punches the hands, then he gets crossed, he gets under, and then he lays the choke in. And I went, nah, he'll eat it. He'll eat it. And then Nick Mattia guns down, gets the choke, gets the finish. And
But
again,
here's
incredibly impressive performance there at
Here's
the end.
the other thing. That was the closest to finishing the match. Let's say that didn't finish the match, right?
Yeah.
You have two frames to one of Jacob winning. By that criteria, Jacob would have won, even though the only danger of any part of the match was that last 35 seconds. Does that outbalance the other part of it?
I think that's an oldest time thing, because we've seen in Polaris where it's like, with the old criteria for Polaris, like the nods and the favors, it was a running clock that was actually scored rounds with just a running clock. So we saw Nicky J-Rod almost finish in the final, demolish his opponent in one of the third quarters, and then lose the match. And we were kind of like, but that's the only thing that happened was at the end of the match. And there was two really close ones, but we've seen it in the UFC and in MMA. You have two rounds that are kind of wash rounds. It's like, that guy kind of edged him a little bit. And then the third round is he almost puts him away and still loses the fight, because it's it's 2-1. So it's the problem with the 10-point must system. It's the problem with having full matches that have very little, you need to do it like one championship does it, which is you judge the match as a whole, and then you do the result at the end. But there's problems to all of them. Regardless,
that becomes a subjective thing too.
Yeah, I think we're getting into a circular thing here, and there's not much. The only other match I really want to talk about on this card is Felipe Costa versus Attard.
Sebastian
Attard, that was his first name here. Really, it's again, I wasn't super familiar with Attard coming into this. He's a Kingsway guy. Gordon and John were in his corner.
On the commentary, they're talking about how he was hitting up who's running it, the Flow Grappling now, and was like, put me on the card. And he was like, he said he would do it for free, kind of thing.
Which is not a good.
It's like, okay,
not a good look.
But in the scheme of, he came in, walked, slid right into guard, and that's where the whole match was taking place. There were footlock attempts from Attard, and Costa coming forward, very Shanji Hibero style jiu-jitsu of pressuring forward.
Mm-hmm. And he had Sanji and Victor Hugo in his corner, which makes sense as to why you got that.
But that was that style coming forward, and then you had the leg attacks of the Kingsway camp and the leg spaghetti, as I like to call it, as they circle their legs in, repummeling and like building up and throwing ththose in. And Felipe passed 2 or 3 times.
A couple of times. Like he passed it in the mount.
Got in the mount. He got into side control.
He was the only one having any sort of positional success whatsoever.
But it didn't really lead to much, as Attard was able to regard every time.
And then go back to what he wanted to do, which was leg lock, which is like attempt and enter leg locks, enter saddle. Felipe, again, did, I think, a phenomenal job here of just consistently forward pressure. Okay, Attard would get his leg in. He would go to a saddle entry or an inverted entry, and then Felipe would stand up. He'd push the leg off. He would, it's like exactly what you would like to see from your top player dealing with a guy that has dangerous leg locks. Again, I think it's very Felipe Costa. It's, I think, a clear win for him. But it's, again, another match that was a good matchup, but I would have liked to see the framework of who's number one, like kind of force a little bit. Let's see a little bit more from these guys, and give like Attard here. His only method of victory was by leg lock, and Costa's method of victory was like, cool, I can try to sub you, but if I just play a dominant pressure game and like stay safe about this, I'm just going to win. So as a result, because neither guy was really constrained to have to do more or other things, it was the classic leg locker versus diligent top player. And Felipe Costa takes like a very clear, clean decision over it. And again, I think that this match, it was actually a well-matched match. It was a good match, but it does sort of highlight the issues with the who's number one rule set of like, you can have a good, well-matched match, but because it's like Attard's only opportunity here is a submission win, and Felipe can either just top pressure and like pass and like be diligent and doesn't really have to hunt, you get this weird dichotomy where both guys are almost like hamstring because there's no other framework for them to win. And so you can see the match going, you're like, cool, this is going to be the entire match. So I don't have much more on that. It was interesting, but it's very just basically like if you want to see a guy diligently deal with modern leg lock entries, like, watch what Costa does here. Like, he makes really no mistakes. He just is sort of where he should be. And again, I was impressed with Attard because Costa is very good. Again, medal to ADCC, very, very good. But just did not have another pathway to deal with Costa, and that's why he loses. So that's all I got on who's number one, Josh. Do you have any other kind of closing thoughts on who's number one?
No.
All right. They had a kids tournament. We typically don't cover kids on the show. If you want to watch it, it is there. I'm guessing that all those kids
are bendy.
Yes. All of those kids are going to be, we're going to talk about them in a couple of years as they start fighting in the adult divisions and winning majors, because that's always how these tournaments go. So, again, future stars, probably all of them. Let's move into the UFC BJJ 7. Let's talk about the main event, Andrew Tackett versus Vagner Rocha at 170. I was surprised Vagner made 170, but he had a good piece in the post-fight. It's like, hey, man, the opportunity was there. I can make it. I got there. Andrew Tackett takes this. Unanimous decision. That's actually not what I expected. I expected him to be able to put Vagner away.
Vagner's notoriously hard to finish.
And he was hard to finish. This was a fun match. I genuinely enjoyed it. This is a mismatch. This is a matchup that really should never have been made.
But nobody else wanted to compete against Andrew.
I get that.
We get it.
I get that as well. I was really impressed. Again, Vagner is one of my favorite guys to watch because he is one of the few guys that he plays to the edge of what any referee in the world will let him do. And in ADCC, if you ever do a rules meeting or a judges meeting or a seminar for rules for ADCC, they always bring Vagner up as like if you can't handle like an open reset at these guys, like, and you want to work and do the big events for ADCC, he goes, and Mo brings up like, imagine trying to reset Vagner. And he uses Vagner as the benchmark of like, he's going to fight for himself and for every opportunity, and he's going to change grips. He's going to make you reset him exactly where he's supposed to go.
Any good competitor is going to do that.
Yes, but Vagner is like the staple because he's so well known for it.
He's well known for a lot of stuff. People muffler because of
the
him.
Python choke. Yeah. He got it. I love how he got that banned in a bunch of rules. It's like, hey man, you can't, like, we had to make a rule. And it's like, it comes up with rules. It's like, can I do this? Can I not? It's great.
Like it's part of the thing. Like, oh yeah, we're gonna ban it. It's like you're literally strangling somebody. You're worried about them like
Putting a hand over a face. It's fine.
It's making you move.
Sorry.
The biting thing was hilarious to me, where Vagner was like, he's biting me. And I was like, are we being real right now? Because you're shoving your arm in his mouth. Like you're pinching closed, you're cupping, you're like, you're doing everything. I'm not saying it's dirty. I'm just saying, like, you're putting your forearm in his face and it ends up in his mouth. Tackett, like, after a minute, his mouth is open. Not because he's like huffing for air. It's just his mouth is open. And what's happening? Or if you're just pushing on somebody's face, they're not going to keep their mouth closed. It doesn't feel great. So what's happening? Oh, your forearm. And he's like, he bit me. And I'm like, dog.
Vagner, he knows.
Come on.
But it's the bullshit that comes with the Vagner match. And he's, again,
it was a good match. And it was
some reason, he's the one guy, I don't know why. He's the one guy where I'm just like, it's Vagner. He can, like, he's the one guy that I don't, everyone else I get kind of mad at. Vagner's the one guy that I'm like, that's what he's done. That's what he's done for 20 fucking years.
It was a good match.
It was. I was very impressed with Vagner here.
Some bright spots, but Tackett ran away with it.
Yeah.
As Tackett should have.
Yes, absolutely.
But again, I've said it before, who is on the UFC BJJ roster?
We don't know.
Nobody.
Yeah.
It's empty.
What I want to talk about a couple of technical pieces here for the match. There was one thing that I was really cool to see Vagner doing consistently, did really well, is the way that he blocked the guard pass and then blocked the immediate back take. So he did like the turtle thing. And then he would come and he'd block the hand, he'd block the hip, he'd get to like a half turtle. And then as Andrew would go to like settle, he would be up enough where he couldn't immediately jump. Andrew couldn't immediately jump the back, and then he'd come back into guard. He did it consistently. He'd go all the way to turtle. It was like a very old school block the pass to get the ad taken against you and then come back to guard. It was just, he did it repeatedly. And it's a place that we see a lot of guys that play in ADCC and honestly, every rule set get burned. And if there's anyone who is going to kill you for overextending in that turtle, it's a guy like Andrew Tackett or Mika Gavao. They're going to jump and take it away. I was really impressed that Vagner at like only one point in this match, like gave his back up.
But he's supremely confident in not getting finished.
Yeah.
Like, you put him in bad positions and he's like, I'm not going to
There was one
submit.
footlock when Tackett had him in that I went, and his Vagner, like Owen O'Flanagan did break his foot. And then
that's the
Vagner
other
looked
thing.
at
Is
him and
like, I
went,
don't think he's going to tap. Like, either way, you're going to have to put him out,
I think
essentially.
I've seen him tap like rear naked chokes. Like, you can finish him, but it is.
Yeah, no,
he is
yeah.
There's a reason why Vagner.
Gordon triangled him, right? Or was it
was it
an armbar? He finished him, but he also knew, like, I'm done. And after whatever it was, like 20-minute match, he was like, okay, stop. I'm good. But he can be finished, but for the most part, he's gritty, stubborn, whatever you want to call it. You'll catch something, maybe, but most of the time, like, his defense is just as solid, if not better, than his offense.
Yeah, really. I think Wagner's defense is just as he's gotten older, has gotten better and better and better. Like, you don't be a 40-year-old guy. Like, we are talking about this match. I really wish the match that shouldn't have been made. We are not talking about it like, oh, it's a ridiculous match. It was like, maybe it's not a match that should get made. But we were all like,
he was in it.
Wagner's a 40-year-old dude.
40 plus 45, I think.
45. Like, Wagner's kids are in trials. Like, it is Wagner, 45 years old, is fighting for the UFC BJJ title, and we're all like, that's not a great match, but it's also like, I'll watch this match. Like, you have to be a pretty special guy in the sport from like a competitive perspective to have the competitive longevity. Like, I just watched Vagner Rocha's
43.
I thought it was 43. You said 45. I feel bad. I just watched Wagner's UFC debut against Cowboy Cerrone. I just watched that fight.
155.
At 155.
It's a younger man.
Like, I just watched that fight. That fight, I want to say, was 2011. Like, Wagner was in the UFC for like 3 years. Like, everyone forgets that. Why? Because it was 15, 17 years ago or whatever it was. He's still fighting for titles there. Again, Andrew Tackett does exactly what he should have done. He beats him up from bell to bell and positionally dominates. He gets him down. He keeps him down. He consistently works through his guard. But Vagner is just there the entire time, not ever getting run over. And at no point, like, Vagner went to the guard a couple of times. It was like, okay, he's taking a break, and he's gonna look for good offense, and Tackett's gonna get out of the guard. Like, this was exactly what you'd expect from a young phenom like Tackett going against a veteran. But usually, when you go against a 43-year-old veteran, they blow them out of the water, and it is uncompetitive.
It's not Vagner.
Yeah, man. It's cool. We only have a couple more years of watching Vagner be able to do.
You don't know that. He might be like Randy Couture.
He might, man. But he kind of is now, honestly. To have this long, look what he has medals at last 4 ADCCs, which is the longest streak ever of anyone. And you're like, he's just had a really impressive career. And he loses here, and Andrew Tackett's like the future. But it was a cool match to see, partially because, again, I'm just a huge fan of like watching how Vagner plays the game. It's the one piece in this match that stuck out so great to me was he gets past, he turtles, he blocks it, he's back. Like, at no point could Andrew ever really like jump and get his back there. And almost every time you see someone do that to Andrew, like, they're on the back. And it was just so cool to see the level of technique that Vagner had in that one spot of just like, man, he has your timing, and he's still not just jumping and getting your back every time. It was like, it's cool to see that level of like understanding of exactly where you have to be versus a young guy like Andrew Tackett that's killing everyone. So that was that. Anything else on this, Josh?
Nope.
Let's move on. Let's talk about Lucas Valente versus Carlos CH7 Henrique.
Don't read nicknames.
Lucas Valente is the champion now. He beat him.
He beat the brakes off of him.
Dude, Valente's good. I interviewed Valente probably 2019.
By the way, I think that this was they were saying on commentary, which was god awful.
Wasn't great. Wasn't great. I muted a lot of it.
What did I say about the guys on Polaris? Like that one, that was like, that's what you need to aim for.
Yeah, man.
He doesn't do it anymore, but where's Jay Regalbuto?
I miss Big J. On commentary, the voice of the East.
Like, the commentary is just, it's so
Din and Chiesa are
bad.
The problem is they're MMA guys that haven't really kept up with the highest levels of the sport.
It's just too much fucking storytelling.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care. Like, you don't have to fill every single moment with nonsense. Like, give me some technical aspects. Give me a little bit of color commentary. Like, keep me interested in the match. If you're just fucking rambling, and where do they have Dean Thomas? Like, is he 20 feet away from the microphone and he feels he needs to like yell? Like, I'm the worst. If anybody's ever watched it on YouTube, Maine is constantly moving the mic towards my face.
Yeah, we started the show together, and I'm still doing that almost a decade later.
Because I just slouch. But he, like, is he deaf? Like, partially?
Probably.
Can he not hear? Like, he's yelling almost into the mic that is a couple of inches away from his face. And they're not adding anything. It's just constant banter and them adding in things or saying something. And it's just, it makes me angry. It's bad. Anyway, back to it. Lucas Valente again looked amazing, was just a bully the entire time.
Yeah, I was impressed.
And then that third round, like that full, I'm like, okay, it's the end of it.
I watched this a couple of times. I want to get your kind of thought on this footlock because
I didn't catch the greatest of angles to it. I don't know what he was doing.
It's like down is the angle we have, and I couldn't.
Normally I'm good at like picking those apart, and I was like, yeah, I don't know about that one.
Because he taps really quick.
Yes.
And again, we've seen Carlos Henrique fight through some stuff. He was the champion. He's a very good fighter. He won that tournament. Like we know Carlos Henrique is very good. He comes in with the goal of like going into MMA, which is its own kind of problem. But Lucas Valente taps him in a spot that I was just confused because it looks like the knee line is free here.
Yeah.
And I cannot. It's very rare that we look at a sub and I'm like, I don't really know what he tapped to.
I'm gonna go back and watch it some more.
Well, I did. I just couldn't figure out exactly what Valente has here.
Well,
Like,
maybe he's
he-
also in his head because this was the fourth match. He was 3-0 to start. Now he's 4-0 against him.
Yeah.
So it's like maybe it's also a mental thing. I don't know, but like pure dominant victory.
Yeah, Valente looked. Again, Valente's been a world champion. He's IBJJF. He's been
Looked
IBJJF
great.
world champion. Like,
Look great.
now he's UFC BJJ world champion, or whatever we're calling this now. I don't know who you're gonna give Valente. I wish we had a better angle on the sub because I'm just a little bit confused. The entry was good. It was sort of a counter entry. He countered the counter for Henrique, and then
Yeah, it's
gets it done.
I don't know what they're doing with it. Like there's nothing to pull me in. The YouTube chat, those people are
That's the worst. It's like the worst.
awful.
They really are the worst.
Like I don't know why I had the YouTube chat on.
Because it's right there. It's there. It's like they're constantly.
Like normally I immediately just get rid of it because the people in there are the worst. They're just like it's constantly like just
Anything else on this match?
it was awesome.
It was a good match. Let's move on. Let's talk about Declan Moody versus Patrick Gaudio.
Oh, you mean Declan Moody just bullying Patrick Gaudio?
God damn, man! Like
was just like-
Gaudio's good.
He's good, but
And
Declan was like, I don't care.
Declan
here.
didn't care, man. Do you ever
There's not much more to it. Like
not
he was
really,
just
man.
like, I'm getting here. It also kind of looked like Gaudio was like, the rear naked choke didn't look like that in to me, but I don't know what he was.
I'm very.
He was
from-
grimacing immediately.
From this, I am really curious how strong Declan Moody is.
Strong?
Because again, like I picked up the exact same thing. We didn't talk about this on the pre-show. I picked up the exact same thing you did, which was like, it didn't look like super in. And Gaudio taps like,
I've seen Gaudio like eat some things.
yes.
And
yes.
Moody was just like, cool.
He's real tough. Patrick Gaudio is real tough. And for him to tap as quickly as he does this rear naked choke, and I went, all right, what does Declan Moody have here that I am unaware of that other guys at the world-class level don't have that Gaudio tapped that quickly to? I am real excited to see Declan Moody at ADCC. Like I think he is going to be a problem for the first couple of guys that he runs into, depending on how he's seated.
Does he do under or over 99?
I think he won trials at under.
That doesn't mean
think-
anything. You can shift around. They do
Not
it all the time.
if you won trials. You got to get a guy to switch with you. If you won trials, if you win trials, you have to go at the slot you won, unless you get someone who was already in to switch. That's why Craig had to be the one to switch for Isaac, so Isaac could do the division that he really kind of should have been, because Isaac did a different division to get out of someone else's division at trials and then got to switch back. But regardless, I took away that was like, I'm really curious about Declan Moody's squeeze here. That was my big takeaway from that. Moody looked amazing. Gaudio is no slouch, and for Moody to put him away at the speed that he did,
You skipped over this one, by the way.
I did. Do you have thought? Do you have a piece of that match?
For
Rebecca
one that
Lima
was-
versus
okay. Yeah, no, I know what you're talking about. Lima versus Laverne, Arielle Laverne.
yeah,
Lima out of that Bastos camp
yep.
again,
She also had Cassie Mora in her corner warming her up.
and she was in Casio Mora's corner when she won
Yes,
her title.
Yes.
And she took the title off of Arielle. And again,
definitively.
just in front the whole time. Like,
Yeah.
whatever they're doing at Bastos.
I have this as a unanimous decision in these notes.
It
Was-
should be that. She
Was it?
didn't-
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought I missed one. For some reason, in my head, I
No,
thought she got
because
the
like
choke.
throughout they were talking about like how
She
Laverne
ends
would
on the
need
back.
to finish.
Okay, she ends on the
to-
back
to
in one of
win.
those rounds, and it always throws me off when I'm watching these things because I haven't got my head around rounds for jiu-jitsu yet. And so whenever I see
Normally
someone,
there's one and then another.
I
and
understand
then
the
another.
concept in MMA, yeah. But in jiu-jitsu, when I see someone and then they're on the back and then the match ends abruptly, sometimes in my head it goes, finish. Like, and I think that's what's happening here for my head. Again, it's been a long week with Easter. Rebecca Lima looked incredible here. Like, Arlie Laverne is the champion at featherweight. I would love to see Lima go against Cravar. Like, that's the matchup I want to see here at UFC BJJ. That's the one I want to see now for Lima after Laverne.
I don't know who's signed to what thing with
I
contracts.
think Cravar is with one currently.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Isn't she
But
with one?
I don't remember the last time I saw her at one, but she missed weight at one, so I don't know if she's still with one or not. Like, I have no idea who's anywhere. I want to see Lima face Cravar at featherweight. If we're ever going to see it, I don't know. But that's the matchup I want to see because Rebecca Lima looked incredible here versus Arielle. And Arielle is no slouch. And Arielle is like one of the best in the world. Was the best, essentially, at the world. Like, world champion, pan champion. Like, astonishing. And Lima looked like a level above Arielle in this entire match in a way that I can't remember a match that has looked like this for Laverne.
Yeah, I don't have more to add to that. Like, a definitive victory.
Mm-hmm. There's really only like one more match I want to talk about here, and Josh, we can run through.
We can talk about them, but if you want to talk about that, there's again another match where I expected a little bit longer of a match, and that didn't happen. Is Adele Fornerino versus Alex Enriquez. Adele does what Adele does.
Dude, this knee bar entry was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Off like a backside, not a bear trap really, but like a backside kind of calf splitter. And Alex turns down, pulls out, and then Adele just re-drags
and grabs
the
it.
leg and goes guillotine grip on it and then finishes.
And Alex is normally really hard to finish.
Alex is really, really good. Like,
Yeah.
multiple time trials medalist. Like, Alex is one of the best women in the world. And for Adele to just, like, it looked effortless.
Yeah, for sure.
In the way she tacks down. Like, I watched this and I went, oh, she finished that. And I had to like back it up because I was like, okay, like Enriquez is a good leg blocker. She'll pull out, she'll drop, she'll push the knee line here, she'll get up. I do not recall the last time I have seen someone re-drag a knee bar from this position and get the finish. It was incredible. Again, especially knowing that the level of Alex, knowing how good Alex Enriquez is, and seeing like a bunch of her performances over the years and just like consistently like top level. To watch Adele just go back, turn, and it just looked like it is something that you would show someone when you're like drilling of like, oh, their leg's gonna come here, and you drill it and you stop back and it's here, and then knee bar is it, and you're like, okay, that you made that look way easier than it will ever be when I actually try it. Mm-hmm. Adele made it look that smooth. It was just an incredible like knee bar win, and it was in what the first like 2 minutes, if that,
2 or 3 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Early first round. And
I expected if it was going to be finished, it would be finished in the third round.
By ankle lock. That's what I thought. That's what I figured. Or Fornerino does. The matchup, I just would figure would be the same way. I figured we were going to see the Adele that we saw at ADCC with like those topside arm locks from the Kimura and then coming down. Like that's for some reason how I thought she would play against Enriquez, because the way that Enriquez likes to play from like top, pressuring down into you. So for it to finish with a knee bar just was surprising to me, but it was a really, really impressive knee bar with the redrag from the calf down. Like I don't remember another high level match where I have ever seen that. It was really impressive. So that was my neatest sub of the weekend for sure.
Yeah. And then just rounding out the card, Rafael Ferreira beats Kenzo Byung. That was funny. He kind of like pulled him into mount, and then Rafael just rear naked choked him.
Rafael was very one-way traffic for this match.
Yes.
It was the pulling him out was very funny. It was We've all been there before, but it was he pulls and then Rafael just like intercepts it to just go to mount. And I went, ooh, we've all been there. We've all been there, but we all tried that before.
Yeah. And then there was Renato Canuto versus Jonathan Cardenas. I'm blanking right now where Jonathan is from. But again,
I think he had France. He had
no. That's Laverne, South American country, and I'm blanking right now. But the YouTube chat, every other comment was in Spanish, and it had the flag of the country that he's from, and it's killing me that I cannot remember what it is. But it was constantly being spammed in the chat, and then other people were like, "Yeah," and then they were like, that country's losing, and I'm like, oh god, just watch, don't type.
Canuto had 2 really good Darce attempts in this
bunch,
one that I was
but- and
impressed
he
that
was
he
just-
wasn't able to put Jonathan away with it.
Yeah. And then Rana Willink versus Carol Joya.
This is a weird knee bar as well.
How about not even that? How about Jocko Willink go out there and do jiu-jitsu? Like, that was his advice in between rounds, was go out and do jiu-jitsu. And I'm like, what?
My guy, that's not great cornering advice.
What?
And again, you know your fighter.
And
you know your fighter. And sometimes the advice you give a specific fighter may, from an outside perspective, seem
There was
weird.
advice from Andres.
Yes. Andres Prokopis.
Brunovskis, yes.
Bernofsky. I never get his last name.
Jocko was like, she doesn't want to wrestle with you. And I was like, that's a lie. And then she was like, just go out and do your jiu-jitsu. Just do jiu-jitsu. And I'm like, yeah. And she wrestled for the most of it. It's like, dog, just play guard. Like, you're getting bullied up the wall. Like, play your guard. Like, you have good leg attacks. Play your guard.
Mm-hmm.
And what happened?
The first really good leg attack that came through was just like a textbook knee bar. Drops over, gets the knee bar.
Well,
and
it
then
was
just,
led off of like heel hook and like
Yeah,
and straight
and a
ankle
turnover
lock.
to it.
And she had tried to do that before, and then she got it. Also, it didn't even look all the way in. And I was
yeah,
like,
the
oh.
defense from Carol here was odd. There wasn't a whole lot of defense, which I thought was really interesting.
You know what it was? She didn't do jiu-jitsu.
Of course. The advice. Again, Josh, I've on the other side of this, like I've given bad cornering advice before, but usually at this, when you get to this level,
that's just like wild. Like, that's the advice you're giving is just go out and do jiu-jitsu. And it's like, oh, okay, cool. And that's like your kid. So maybe she knows exactly what you're talking about, but you're mic'd up.
Yeah, when you're mic'd up in cornering, it's regardless. So
who am I
whatever. So that was the card. Overall, you had a lot more mismatches this card than in previous cards, which is I don't want this segment to be too much longer. That's all we have for this week, essentially, on the show. UFC BJJ has weird matchmaking problems where either there's big mismatches,
or you don't care,
or there is there's no the biggest problem is there's no divisional structure.
We don't know who's in it. You again have your Mikey Musumeci division, which is like, who can we throw in against him that he can beat, right? Because the kid's not going to be able to put on enough weight and strength to compete in a different division that's potentially deeper. Right.
And he's beaten everyone.
He's beaten everybody.
He's beaten everyone. He's rematched guys and then beat them again. He's beat guys he lost to 7 years ago. And you're like, okay, well, Mikey, you beat everyone. You beat everyone in one. You beat everyone in the IBJJF. You beat everyone here. Like, there are no more hills to climb, my guy. We're just giving you everyone we can. The Shea match, the Shea Montague match was like great until Shea tears his leg, and you're like, okay, well, that's that. We have who's number one?
Who's 145? Exactly.
Yeah.
How about 155? 70. Tackett.
The problem is for both who's number one and UFC BJJ is they don't carry any regular roster. They both have too many divisions. We don't know who's in their roster for okay, who can Andrew Tackett face next? Is like, so it's like he's the title holder. That's great. But that has no weight now because I'm like,
in a division of 4 people.
Well, it's like and he's now beat the guys I've seen him beat, and he did it handily with no issue. So it's like, okay, well, who else is in the division can he defend? Like, there is no sports in general work because there is some sort of a divisional structure or a tournament structure. There's some structure for the events.
There's something that pulls me in and makes me care about it.
Gives it a storyline.
There's nothing that I care about.
For both Who's Number One now and for UFC, that's why Who's Number One, the tournament, at least was a framework for like, okay, this is why I care about this 155-pound title, is because these are 4 good guys. Here's an interesting framework. They're going to crown a champion. It's okay, I don't need to necessarily know who's in the division. I know who's in the tournament. Okay, it gives me framework for this event. For UFC BJJ, it all just seems like the most random one-off matches that they are making.
It's darts at the wall.
That's what it feels like. And
Here's the other thing.
There's no framework for these matchups, and it is very hard as like what we do as kind of like sports analysts or like just fans of the sport, for me to explain to anyone. It's like Rebecca Lima versus Ariel Laverne. Why should you care? It's like, okay, they were good. The trials, here's the trials results. Like,
how about
give the
who
framework?
Are they? How about to the layman? How about to the Just Bleed crowd that boo the second a match hits the ground in MMA?
Right.
Why? How are you going to make them care about something that you're creating?
Put a division in it and give them like a pathway towards a champion.
There's hardly any advertising for it. Mind you, this is a company that is connected to a $1 billion company. And there is no push. You know what I know about more than anything is Zuffa boxing, right? I could care less. You're telling me about people that are boxing that I don't care about. And you're just like, oh, you put up a graphic. Tackett versus Vagner. And it's like, unless you're in jiu-jitsu and you care about competitive jiu-jitsu, you don't know anything, right? There's nothing to get you invested. And then again, also, it's on a random day during the week.
Yeah. Which I think is actually a good marketing strategy.
It can be if you know about it.
Yeah.
The podcast that's been running for how long?
8 or 9 years.
Yeah.
2017.
There you go.
Yeah.
Right? Almost 9 years. Almost 10, right? Missed something because it wasn't really advertised a lot. It's like, that means that you have to watch a product that I don't know if you care about enough or not. Like that, I'll get advertising for UFC BJJ on a UFC pay-per-view, or not, excuse me, on whatever streaming site it's on for X amount of dollars. It's like, it's all, and yeah, it's free on YouTube. Great, awesome. It's not behind some paywall when it comes to that. I'm just not like, I'm not invested in it. I don't really know about it until I start to really look for it. And there's no excitement. There's no build up. There's no storyline. There's no nothing.
Like Tackett is the best example.
Tackett's
you have the best guy, like one of the most exciting dudes in the world in our sport, Andrew Tackett. He's your champion. And I can't even think about who he might face and when. It's like, does he fight again this year? Like, probably.
Against
who does he face? Is it a guy that's even in the roster? Is it a guy that I'll know about? Like, that is my problem with this. Is like, the Vagner match was a good matchup. Like,
Do you know who's in the 170 division? I know 2 guys. Ready? Hanato Canuto and Jonathan Cardenas.
Yep.
Who's on the card.
Yep.
And who Tackett beat.
Yes. And that's my point, is like, I can't give the framework for who are in these divisions, like, because there isn't anyone in the divisions, and that's so blatantly obvious as a viewer that it's like, Andrew Tackett, I would never not watch a match of his, but I'm sitting here as a viewer going, cool, he beat Vagner, he should have beat Vagner. Where do we go from here? Like this, and the product just ends when the event ends, and then a new event pops up seemingly randomly. And they have them out for the rest of the year, which is great. But like there is no divisional standing here. At least with Who's Number One, it fixed that problem because there were rankings, but you still have Felipe Costa, number 5, going against unranked Sebastian Attard, and that happens all the time because these cards don't run frequently enough. The rosters are either too big or not frequent enough. And what are you seeing?
I'm just looking at the next UFC BJJ.
Who is on it? Because I think we've ended this segment here.
Yeah, us bitching for the past like 30 minutes. Asmat Bakhtov, Thomas David, William Tackett versus Enrico Said.
Okay.
Danilo Morea versus Ethan Krellinston. Look at that. He made the call out.
He did make the call out and got there.
Now he's on there.
Okay. Who is he going? I don't.
Danilo Morea. That one I'm interested in.
Cassiamora versus Bia Basilio, because Bia Basilio is now in the UFC. That's a good matchup. Mikey Musumeci versus Kevin Dancer is the main event. Oh, yeah, they were talking about
If you're
this.
not watching this and you're listening, Maine's face says, I don't care.
I like Dancer. He's like nice guy. He's won a bunch of stuff locally. Like his last loss that I'm aware of is like to Krikorian.
Yeah.
Like who?
And he's an excellent competitor.
He is. He's a freaking competitor. He has a win over Aljamain Sterling. Like he's good.
Yeah.
But I don't know if he's on the level of Mikey, and so it's like that's a really tough main event. That's sort of
Lost to Junie by heel hook.
Yep.
Last May.
At CFFC, CFFC GGS, what that's called now? CFFC BJJ, I think, is what it was. What's it called now? Yep.
Or Fury or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Won his last match against Sam McCall.
Yep.
McHale.
The owner of Emerald City.
In 13 seconds.
It was very, very quick. It was impressive.
You know, he's
The answer's good.
He's
Mikey's
good, but it's
four-time world champion.
Yeah.
So that's my point with UFC BJJ. I would
match
love.
I care about very much. So.
Yeah, Cassiamora versus Bia is going to be a phenomenal
fire.
match. I just would love them to be in a division. I would love to know 4 possible matchups for Cassia after this, or 4 possible matchups for Bia after this. Like, give me 3 other guys in Mikey's division that he could face and their pathways to the title. Like, that's how sports work. That's why sports have leagues. That's why the NFL has like a divisional system and a conference system. And then, like, hey, these teams are going to play these teams. And at the end, you have a record. And you go to a playoff, and you have a playoff to the Super Bowl. Like, there is a framework to follow a season of football as a fan. And MMA, there's rankings, and the rankings kind of don't mean much anymore. But, like, there's rankings. There's a pathway for guys to move up. Theoretically, that is the thing that feeder is what draws interest and garners interest, because it gives you a storyline to talk against and work through so that you can understand the product. Like, it makes the championship, it makes the Super Bowl important, because you know what X football team had to do for that season to be able to make it there, and the adversity that they had to transit through in order to get that title of esteem. If Andrew Tackett is just matched up with another guy, like, it's just like cool title fight that's like, okay, like we
didn't have anybody else
for it.
Yeah.
There is no weight for it. It's just like he has this title, and that's cool, and he's going to face maybe a world level guy, probably a world level guy, but it's going to be a guy that we make a call, and then the adversity and the storyline of him defending and having that title just doesn't exist, because it seems like somebody made a random call to another top-level guy and was like, you want to fight this guy? And he's like, I'll fight that guy.
Hey, Steve, can you fight Andrew Tackett in 2 months?
That's what it seems like. And that just, it's really hard to build interest as a fan like that. So we've beat this dead horse into the
here
abyss.
at Grappling Rewind.
Here on Easter Sunday in the U.S. Josh, any closing thoughts more than we've gotten? Anything fun you got going on for the week?
I like how you keep saying in the U.S.
Is
like
Easter?
Other people celebrate Easter on this day.
Is it international holiday?
It partially. I know there's other like different forms of Easter. I don't care. We had not religious. Like, you're asking the wrong dude.
We had Greek Easter and regular Easter today at my family house. So there are different Easters, but
I'm aware of that.
I was not until today. So
it's can ask George about Greek Easter.
Learning experience for me. He's having a kid.
Yes, I'm aware.
So, Josh, anything fun for you this week? Anything good going on as we end the show?
No. Do we have anything before we possibly miss it?
Next week, we have preview for IBJJF, ADCC West Coast Trials.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm jazzed for it. I love trials. Because why, Josh? Because it gives me a framework and a league system for guys to win a slot into a greater, larger tournament of esteem. It gives me the framework. That's why one of the reasons ADCC is so cool, because it gives you the framework. And I care about it because you bring all the trials winners together, and the former champions and the former medalists, and then a couple
invitees,
and then a couple of special guys who you think are that guy or that lady on that day. They can go and do it, and you bring them in, and you bring GSP, and you bring Weidman in, and you make them fight because it's fun. But they bring Ben Askren in, and he gets heel hooked really quick because he's a wrestler, right? Like
Chael Sonnen in.
You bring Chael Sonnen, he gets choked, he gets heel hooked by Craig. What did he get? Triangle by Craig Jones?
He got heel hooked, I think, by Craig Jones
back in 2017. Like, you give a framework for it to be exciting and interesting. That Craig Jones, that guy from the little region with the bad seed, he beats these world champions on his lead up to also getting beat in the finals, as was tradition, but we didn't know at the time. And then next time he comes and it happens again. Like, that's a storyline of Craig Jones and the B team just can't quite get it over the line. Like, we are all invested in them getting to second place. We're all invested that Kainan Duarte couldn't take that from going. He couldn't let Craig Jones win because he'd take that silver medal from him. That's a storyline. Like, what we talked about this week, not a lot of storyline. So on that note, Josh, let me get us out of this show.
Quick run
on Easter Sunday. As always in the show, I'm your host, Maine, joined by co-host
Josh.
And we are the Grappling Rewind. See you on the mat, whatever it is. Stay safe. If you like the show, please consider sharing it on Facebook with the folks at your gym. It's the best way that we grow the show, and we really appreciate it. You can reach out to us on email.
We also have Instagram. We have Facebook. We have Twitter. We have Google+.
Until that shuts down.
We have a website.
If you have an event you would like to have us cover, please let us know. If you have a name, like most people do, and you'd like to have us stop butchering it,
let us know.
Reach out to us. The show is also available on YouTube, Spotify, in addition to iTunes and every other podcast service. We very much appreciate your time, and thank you.